Sometime in the 2020s, two geeks from across social media formed an alliance to bring you geek news from across the Nostalgiaverse. They are Jacob's Toys and SuperSorrell. So strap yourselves in for the weekly live show that brings you toy news, TV and movie reviews, special guests, opinions, tangents, and bad impressions. Reveals, releases, thoughts, and maybe dreams. So prepare yourselves for the Geek Week in Review. Live.
Hello. Do a way to throw me off. Oh, Sorrel. Look at you. Hello, welcome back to Geek Week, episode 153 with me, Jacob's Toys, and of course the wonderful one and only SuperSorrell in his little vampire mask.
But you know why though, right?
It's what?
You know why though, right? You know what today is?
What's today?
Dracula Day.
Is it?
Today's officially Count Dracula Day.
Oh well, there you go. I didn't know that, but
the book
happy.
Came out on 26th of the 5th. The book came out, so officially 26th of May is known as Bram Stoker Day.
Hello, Dracula Day. Great. Just celebrating the Dracula Day. There's a few people in the comments already chatting away. We will get to your comments in a little while. Doesn't matter where you're watching, as long as you're watching. Jump in on a comment, join in with the chat, and we will do our best to get the comments up on the screen so that everyone can see them depending where they are. This is Geek Week, episode 153. If you're watching us live, that's brilliant. If you're watching us on catch up, like a lot of you do, what do they need to put in the chat, Mr. Sorrell?
Hashtag Ketchup Crew.
Hashtag Ketchup Crew or Ketchup Crew, whatever you want to do. Whatever you want to do. Let's just jump to a few. Emma O'Neill's saying there, hello, how you doing? Her favourite movie's The Crow. Andy Roberts, evening everyone. Happy bank holiday. Yes, it's a bank holiday weekend. That's very cool. Also asking if anyone's seen the new horror channel NYX. I haven't. Have you seen the NYX channel yet, Sorrel?
Yeah, the NYX channel was that one that I promoted on my horror vlog for when I was at HorrorCon. NYX was there.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, they were sort of like trying to get people's opinions on what kind of films they would want to show and stuff.
Cool. Cool. I remember us talking about it. We did talk about it briefly, didn't we? Shelley, started with a click. Shelley's in the chat as well. Hello, Shelley. Ezra Gantos, Toddwell, Sean the Sheep, Luna, Jake. Hello, how's it doing? How you going? Nice to see you. I love that name.
Does that sound better, by the way? Is that better?
Andy Roberts said, Sorrel, your mic is really quiet. Mic with a capital M there, like it's your buddy.
I've taken off the reduced mic background noise. Maybe that's muting me a little bit or something, but everything seems to be fine at my end.
You do still sound a little bit quiet. You do sound a little bit quiet.
I can change it back to
that one. Does that sound better?
Well, I know there's a lot of backup there. There's a lot of feedback.
There will be.
That's the best we're going to get, people. I'm sorry.
Oh, they said they can barely hear you, Ash.
Crazy times.
What is going on? What is going on? We're going to try. We're going to go for the Xbox mic.
Headset. Oh, no, it's not going to work because I've got a... It's only with one thing in it. It's not Yep, no. This is all you're going to get, people, I'm afraid.
You're just going to have to shout. You are going to have to shout. John Hood is in the chat as well with a boom. So this week we're doing cameos. We're doing top 10 movie cameos. We decided to kind of deep dive into some of our favorite movie cameos. Feel free to chat along with us. Let us know yours in the comments. But just to clarify, what we've done is the guidelines that we set where these were characters that show up in other movies. So not necessarily an actor, but someone that kind of brings back the character for another movie, either related or completely unrelated, but essentially a nice little movie cameo. So we've both got 10. We're going to go through our 10. We've kind of vaguely ranked them. Sorry, I'll be back in a sec. He's messing around with his mic. We've vaguely tried to rank them a little bit, sort of 10 down to 1. So we'll see. Got a feeling that there's going to be a lot of crossovers. I've got a feeling that we're going to have a lot of crossovers.
Is that any better?
I mean, you're louder. Sounds like you're in an airport.
That's best we're going to get, though, I'm afraid.
All right, maybe we'll have to just go for that one.
My computer, by the way, is going to, at some point on one of these streams, it will just blow up and I'll be dead.
Yeah.
It sounds like an aircraft carrier.
That is louder. Let us know in the chat. Is that better? Do you prefer Sorrell's sweet, sweet voice on that microphone, or would you prefer it on the one he had before? Do let us know, and we'll
It's the
adjust
same
it.
mic. I've
accordingly.
just basically put it in a different USB port.
Oh,
Apparently, that's
okay.
made a damn bit of difference.
Yeah, you are definitely louder. You're definitely louder. So yes. Andy Roberts said, "Little better, mate. I think Mr. Sorrell needs to invest in a new computer or a
Ain't
new."
gonna happen, people. Ain't gonna happen.
You are hanging on. You are hanging on to that one, aren't you?
It's the fact that I can run everything from here except doing the Geek Week because I do all the sharing of the pictures and I can't do that from here. That's the only reason I'm on this. Otherwise, I would be sat on this.
Fair enough. We'll have to look. Maybe we'll have to invest. Right. So I was just telling quickly while you were adjusting your mic that we have vaguely put together a top 10 movie cameos, and the kind of the constraints that we had where they had to be a character that kind of reprised their role in another movie. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Do you want to start it off, or do you want me to start it off?
I can start it off.
So coming in at number 10,
Mulder and Scully from the X-Files. Showing up in The Simpsons.
Oh, The Simpsons. There's so many cameos in The Simpsons.
Mate, I struggled to get the 10, but that was my number 10. That was my least favourite, but I needed a 10.
Okay, fair enough. No, that's a good episode, actually, to be fair. My number 10 was J.K. Simmons, J. Jonah Jameson showing up at the end of Spider-Man Far From Home. Just because it was classed as a cameo. Because
Does that count? Does that even count?
It was a cameo because at the time when that movie came out, he was not part of that universe, was he? We hadn't seen him before, and he showed up right at the end. So that was my
You're
number
scraping
10.
the barrel here a lot, I think.
A little bit.
A Marvel character showing up in a Marvel movie.
That was my number 10. Well, it's different Spider-Man. Number 10, that was.
My last one that I think is questionable, but I like this one, was... I know there's a lot of cameos in Disney films, but Sebastian showing up in Aladdin.
Oh, does he?
Yeah, so when the genie's opening the book on the beach, he puts his hand inside the book and he goes, ouch! And there's a crab attached to it and it's Sebastian.
Oh, okay.
He also, his head turns into Pinocchio, doesn't it? His nose grows as well.
Yeah. There's quite a few there as well, actually. My number 9, it's a shame that Ryan's not here because he would love it for the family. But it was Dom Toretto showing up at the end of Tokyo Drift. Because again, at the time when Tokyo Drift came out, it was a Fast and Furious film. It was the first one that was kind of away from the main story, and it had nothing to do with any of the characters. Like, it was vague kind of connections, and then obviously Toretto shows up at the end for a street race. Obviously, by the time it got to like Fast and Furious 52, like they had brought the characters in from Tokyo Drift and crossed over and all the rest of it. So, but at the time, I remember kind of really popping for that one because I really enjoyed Tokyo Drift at the time. And seeing Dom Toretto at the end was just kind of like a like moment, you know.
Okay. My next one was Sylvester Stallone turning up as the Terminator in Last Action Hero.
Oh, did he?
He's on the poster. When they're in the video shop?
Yeah. Oh, yes.
It's Stallone on the bike instead of Arnold, because obviously Arnold's playing the hero of that movie, so they couldn't really have him, so they got Stallone to do the bit. To take the photo.
You got a picture for this?
I've got a picky, let me put it up for you. There you go. There he is. Good old Sly.
Oh, yeah.
So Sly was put on the bike. Yeah, it was a good one, that one.
That's very cool. That is very cool. Ironically, my next one is from Last Action Hero as well.
All right.
And it was Robert Patrick showing up as the T-1000 in Last Action Hero.
Is your list now going to be all like Robert Patrick cameos?
No.
Because he's done this a lot, because I've got one on my list. He's done this a lot, hasn't he?
Well, mine was a slash. For this one. So it was the T-1000 showing up in Last Action Hero. As he walks out of as they walk into the police station, it's a real blink and you miss it, isn't it? But I can't remember the name of the kid, but he kind of goes, "Oh, did you see that? Did you see that?" But the slash was obviously the T-1000 showing up in Wayne's World as well. Yeah, so you know that one. Where he obviously pulls up very much as the same character, doesn't he?
He doesn't even does the whole, have you seen this kid? Ah!
Yeah.
You know.
Go on then. What's your next one?
My next one is E.T. in the Phantom Menace.
Oh, I got ET in the Phantom Menace. This is my next one. I was debating whether to put Yoda in ET as well, like ET in Phantom Menace / Yoda in ET, because
Was Yoda in
Yoda's.
E.T.?
Well, no, but it's a kid dressed in a Yoda costume, isn't it?
Ah, okay, yeah.
And ET recognizes him, and there's the whole kind of backstory as how they, one recognize, like they allowed, Spielberg allowed it and Lucas allowed it and all that kind of stuff. But no, I thought this was a really cool one. I really do, because it kind of
Brings it all full circle, doesn't it?
Yeah, gave a bit more of a backstory to ET. And obviously, at the time when ET came out and he recognizes the kid dressed as Yoda, there was lots of people kind of going on, sort of saying, oh, does that mean that ET's in the Star Wars universe and that kind of stuff? And this was just kind of confirmation that he sort of is, if that makes sense. So that one, that's my one. Yeah, so same number. It's ironic. Who would have thought?
My next one is Chucky turning up in Ready Player One.
Oh, right, that's my next one as well. Yeah, that's you know what the best thing about that cameo is, though, is the bit like when he throws it at they called the Sixers, the other guys, and he throws Chucky at like the Sixers, and he takes out like 3 or 4 of them, doesn't he? But the guy goes, "It's fucking Chucky!" And I just thought that was brilliant. But he doesn't quite look right. Like, it's Chucky, but it doesn't look like Chucky.
I don't think they 100% had the likeness rights. Something's very off with that Chucky.
It is. I mean, I know that in Ready Player One that they've got the kind of Avatar kind of look, haven't they? Where they've got the kind of computer generated look, and I suppose that this kind of falls in line with that. But
yeah, they probably wanted them to make Chucky look different, so it was an in-game version of Chucky rather than the real-life looking Chucky.
Yeah,
so Chucky's computer generated, kind of like a puppet with computer generation in it. In the films, so
that's kind of how. Yeah, but it's funny enough. That's a cameo that a lot of people don't really talk about. I think it's quite a big cameo, really. Like, and this was kind of before. I'm pretty sure this was before the Chucky TV series started as well, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, long before.
It was the first time we had kind of seen Chucky outside of one of the Child's Play / Chucky movies.
Yeah.
So yeah, okay, that was on my list as well. Go on then, next one.
My next one is a cameo, but you don't actually see anyone, but you see their clothing.
Ooh.
So this is, on Batman and Robin.
Yep.
When Mr. Freeze gets sent to prison and they're putting Mr. Freeze's armor in the sort of lockup.
Yep.
You see the costumes of the Riddler, Two-Face, Joker, Catwoman.
Yeah.
All the previous villains from the previous movies. I'm struggling to find a photo of this one, believe it or not. I can't find a photo. But there's all the previous villains from that universe's sort of clothing are all in there. That's
interesting, because I almost put in Amazing Spider-Man 2, where at the end credits you see all of the kind of Sinister Six costumes.
Yeah.
But I didn't include it because I was like, well, it's not really a cameo because we'd never seen those characters in that franchise, whereas at least with the Batman ones, you had seen the characters. It was just that's a very cool one. Very, very cool one. That is cool. All right, so my next one was Darth Maul showing up in Solo.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Again, that was a real big pop moment. I think that, obviously, as a fan of the animated shows, we know that Darth Maul has a very big arc, doesn't he? But I kind of looking at it as just a film franchise point of view. For a lot of people, that would have been the first time they'd seen Darth Maul again.
Yeah.
And I think it kind of shows that he has more going on than just. But for somebody that has watched the animated shows and knew the arc, kind of it made sense that he was going to show up. But for somebody who just watched the films, it would have been a really big, like, whoa, why is he there kind of moment. Unfortunately, though, it was spoilt by Lego. Do you remember this?
Yeah, it was massively.
When they did the I can't remember what they were called. I actually used to collect them, but you know, like the sort of 12-inch kind of Lego figures that you used to build.
Mm.
Yeah,
can't remember what they're called.
they did a Darth Maul one of them for Solo, and it was like, okay, that's obviously happening. Go on, Em. Next one.
The Django in 1,000 Ways to Die in the West. Sorry, 1,000,000 Ways to Die in the West.
Oh, okay. End credits, isn't it?
It is. It's post. It's like a mid-credit scene.
Yeah. Jenko T in the chat. How you doing, Jenko T? A little bit late. Well, it never doesn't matter. Better late than never. You know what? Ironically, my next one was Million Ways to Die in the West as well.
See, I've got that one as well, but it's Doc Brown, isn't it?
Yeah, Doc Brown.
He's on my list as well.
But this was met with a lot of controversy. Like, a lot of people thought that it was out of place because the Seth, what's his name?
Yeah, Seth
MacFarlane. Yeah, Seth MacFarlane's kind of type of comedy was very different to Back to the Future, and it was just kind of like there's a lot of controversy about it kind of being out of place. But the way I look at it, Million Ways to Die in the West was very similar to like a Family Guy episode, I thought, with the little kind of like crossovers and cutscenes and stuff. And in a Family Guy episode, you would see Doc Brown in a stable covering up a DeLorean, so I thought it was cool. I just thought it was cool, and seeing Christopher Lloyd show up anywhere as Doc Brown is a winner for me.
Always.
I even liked it on the adverts that he did. I was like, yeah, cool. Give me something with Doc Brown any day. Go on, Em. Next one.
So this is my last one then. Now we'll rattle through them pretty quick.
I've still got 1, 2, 3.
I'll let you go next. Then you go next.
Okay, so
I guess we've got the same one later down the line anyway. My last one, I'm pretty sure, is going to be on your list.
Is yours a double act?
Yeah, of course it is.
Okay, we'll get to that one last then. So the other two that I've got, Ray Stans in Casper, the Friendly Ghost.
Yep.
Again, I hated it, but it was very cool to see.
I forgot about it until you mentioned it.
Yeah, I just thought it was a real. No, it just was out of place. Do you know what I mean? Like the character didn't behave like the character did, but yes, obviously he comes running out of the house and says like, who are you gonna call? Someone else. And he's got a little handlebar moustache, which is just like you can clearly know he was just around, and he went, look, I've got the gear in the car, do you want me to do a quick cameo? I'm happy to do so. Ironically, Andy H has just written in the comments one of my next ones, which is Jaws' Matt Hooper in Piranha 3D, which again was a very cool. Richard Dreyfuss showed up as, and I can't remember whether he actually refers to the name Matt Hooper. I don't think he says his name, but we all know who it is. But
that's the idea, isn't it? It's one of the moments where it's like you know who he's meant to be, but they probably can't say it.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just, I don't know. For me, it was cool, but I don't like the way the film killed him. Like it was just like he's basically like been up against the massive shark, and this, whatever. Andy, I know I can see your list. I'm hiding in your room. I hope not. That's cool. So they're my other two. So I'm guessing your last one is something to do with a certain Scream franchise.
Yeah, Scream 3, Jay and Silent Bob. You can't beat Jay and Silent Bob. They're my favourite little duo.
No.
Obviously, they've been in so many movies over the years. But what I love about that is the fact that because they are playing Jay and Silent Bob as well, so literally that puts Scream in the same franchise in the same universe as the Jay and Silent Bob and Mole Rat movies, which I think is hilarious.
But it's massively wrong. Do you not realise why?
No.
Here's my movie knowledge. I had to write this down to make sure I got it. Right? Jay and Silent Bob show up in Scream 3, yeah?
Yeah.
So Scream 3, shot in 2000. Scream 3, probably arguably the worst of the franchise. It's kind of where it was really struggling.
I've rewatched them all recently, and it really is.
Yeah, it's a hard watch, isn't it? But they obviously show up and give Gale a bit of abuse, don't they? But in the original Scream, in the first Scream, you see a Clerks VHS tape.
Yeah.
So Clerks in itself as a thing is there, but then we see Jay and Silent Bob as the characters, so that in itself is quite conflicting. But then what makes it worse is in Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, Wes Anderson is filming a Scream sequel.
Yep.
So it's kind of it all layers up, and it's kind of like that doesn't make sense. So are they there? Is the VHS in the first one incorrect? Is the Wes Craven filming the film in their sequel incorrect? So yeah, it was I love it, but it was just kind of a bit confusing.
I like to imagine that it's because in Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, they obviously go to Hollywood to stop their film from being made, and they obviously walk through a lot of different sets during that sequence.
Yeah.
So I like to imagine that that's set during their movie. Basically, they've just stumbled upon the Scream set, trying to find their own.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So
in my head, that's how I work it.
Bit of a meta kind of. I get it. So it's a film within a film within a film.
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense. Got a couple in the chat as well. Andy H has said R2D2 in Star Trek.
Really?
I don't remember that one.
Remember that one.
Let's see if we can find a picture of that to go with it. Kane from Alien in Spaceballs.
Yeah.
I almost put this on my list, but I didn't know. Yeah, it didn't make my list, but this was almost on my list because it was, he obviously meets a similar fate, doesn't he? Jenko Tees, this is a good one actually, which we forgot. The alien skull in Predator 2 is quite a good cameo. I think I think we could count that because it's a character showing up in a different movie franchise. But I remember at the time watching this as well and seeing the alien skull and really kind of jumping out of my seat because I was like, oh wow, look, they've crossed with the aliens. And then Alien versus Predator came out and it just kind of squashed all of that expectation. It's a bit rubbish, really, isn't it?
So the R2D2 cameo is there. It's in the in the remakey movie, the newer Star Trek movies, where the bit where the ship blows up, you see R2D2 flying through the debris.
Okay, that's cool. I didn't know about that one.
It's a cameo. It's there.
I didn't know about that one. We'll give you that, Andy H.
I did not have a clue about that one.
That's a very, very cool one. Did not realise about that. Another one actually just kind of come to mind is what about R2D2 and C3PO on the hieroglyphics in Indiana Jones?
Yeah.
it's not a character as such showing up, but it's a nice little kind of crossover, isn't it?
Yeah. But you could that's the same with like every Disney movie ever. So like in Hercules, you've got Scar, that is like the skin of Scar that he's holding up over him, and Aladdin's got the most, to be fair.
Aladdin has a lot.
But my favourite one is Hunchback of Notre Dame. When he's on top of the bell tower singing out there, and he wants to like go down to the people down below. When he swings around the thing on the top of the building, it shows the outside looking down, and you can see Belle walking through the village singing that doing that song that she does at the beginning of Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah.
That bonjour, good day. They're clearly doing that scene in the background while Hunchback's looking down at it. Yeah, it's brilliant. Let me find the picture.
I did not know that. I mean, the obvious one as well is Rapunzel in Frozen.
Yeah.
That's a big one, isn't it? That everyone kind of.
Also, they designed the ship in Frozen that the family die on is based on the ship from The Little Mermaid.
Yeah. And didn't the writers also say that Tarzan is Tarzan's parents are their parents as well?
Supposedly, that one's a stretch.
It is a stretch.
But my favourite thing is that Hercules and The Little Mermaid are cousins.
How so?
Because
Neptune, Zeus,
Neptune and Poseidon. Yeah. Poseidon is the brother of Triton.
Yeah. Okay.
So, they're all brothers, aren't they? Triton, Zeus, and they're all brothers, so it makes them technically cousins.
That's very cool.
New tab. I'm gonna have to share the Reddit page, but it's fine. Reddit. Here we go. Boop. If I zoom, so this is Hunchback of Notre Dame, and then they're looking down, and you can see Belle's walking past.
Oh wow! Yeah. That's very cool. I did not know about that one.
Yeah, it's a good one, that one.
That's very cool. I mean, Disney films are absolutely chock-a-block with them. I thought that a lot of your cameos were going to be from Disney films. Not going to lie. I was like, we're going to have like 8 Disneys and like a couple more. But you know what? I thought that there was more cameos out there than there are.
Yeah, I think because we obviously made it harder for ourselves by saying they had to be playing characters. Because a lot of the time, people show up in other films and it's just a celebrity cameo, but it's like a nod to something else, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
So like Bruce Willis at the end of Split and stuff like that. Like he doesn't really show up as the character from Die Hard, but it's Bruce Willis. You know what I mean? It looks like he's wearing the white tank top and stuff.
Yeah. No, you're thinking of Loaded Weapon.
Oh, is that Loaded Weapon I'm thinking of?
Yeah. In the end of Split, he plays the character from Unbreakable.
Ah, yeah.
Yeah. So, but then that becomes obviously Bruce Willis turning up at the end of Split links Unbreakable to Split, and then that goes on to what was the last one? Glass. Was it Glass?
Something like that.
Because it became a trilogy, didn't it? It's quite similar to my J. Jonah Jameson one. At the time, it was a cameo because it was like, oh wow, look, they got J.K. Simmons to do a quick J. Jonah Jameson. But then obviously in the next film, he was J. Jonah Jameson in that universe. So it kind of stopped it from being a cameo and made it actually just part of the actual film.
Yeah.
Which, but I think as well, like, in a lot of ways, I think Marvel movies have kind of spoiled the cameo because they're so interlinked. Go on.
Yeah. I'm going to say, Andy's right as well. Danny Trejo is playing Machete in Spy Kids. So technically, so that is a link as well. It's so weird.
That is big.
But yeah, Marvel did, because there's so many of the damn things, Marvel did kind of ruin the cameo bit. See, I never class them as cameos. Same with like the Vin Diesel one, because to me, in my head, they're from the same franchise, so I would expect them to show up because they're from that world.
But if you think back to like 2000 and what was Iron Man 2008, but if you think back to that, Samuel Jackson showing up at the end of Iron Man,
that was cool. Yeah, at the time, that was amazing.
It was a cameo because it was like, well, it's okay. So it's Samuel Jackson playing Nick Fury, but we haven't seen Nick Fury anywhere. So it was like a cameo. Same as at the end of Incredible Hulk, you then had Robert Downey Jr. showing up as Tony Stark, and you're like, oh, this is cool. These are little kind of cameos. But then by the time we got the first Avengers film, and we knew that it was building up to like the Avengers film, they didn't become cameos. They became kind of hooks to the next one.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's all good. Andrew Duncan said one of mine was all the Disney princesses in Ralph Breaks the Internet. That is quite. I mean, Ralph Breaks the Internet has got a lot of kind of cameos, like the
Sonic.
Sonic's there. Street Fighters
and Chun-Li are having a drink together.
There's so many cameos in that particular film. But no, I just think that Marvel kind of ruined it. I remember as a kid, kind of when you saw a character from another franchise show up, like even simple ones like the T-1000 in Wayne's World. Like Wayne's World, excuse me, obviously came out a long time ago.
Yeah, Wayne's World was great for that.
Yeah.
Because it was like a Saturday Night Live skit, wasn't it?
Yeah, it felt very much like it, didn't it? I mean, Wayne's World came out, let's have a look, 92.
Don't make me feel old.
1992. So,
had that VHS.
I was quite young there.
I was young too, but it was one of them ones where, like, I remember, like, as I was younger, and there was, like, a kid down the road who was a lot older than me, like, he was good 8 years older than me, and his mum would hand down VHS tapes and toys and figures and things as he aged. And like at one point, I remember a box of VHSs dropping on the door, and it was like there was the Wayne's World in there. And I remember seeing that for the first time, like when I was a small kid.
Yeah. Another one as well is that we spoke about it previously, was the Freddy glove at the end of the Friday the 13th films.
Yeah.
What Jason one was it?
Jason Goes to Hell. So it's the very last scene, hence the name of the film. It was almost like that film was made for that cameo. Because it was like literally at the very end of the film, you just see the glove come out and drag Jason down to hell. It's a great cameo. And again, at the time, like you say, that now you wouldn't even blink if Freddy crossed into a Jason or vice versa. I mean, because of the Freddy versus Jason is so popular, so you wouldn't even blink now. But back then, that was like, oh my god, like Freddy's in Jason.
Yeah. Do you know that Freddy Krueger cameoed in the? Did you ever watch the Goldbergs?
Yeah, the Goldbergs had a lot of cameos, but yeah, he was in that, wasn't he?
But Freddy's in that as well, like as Freddy Krueger.
That's Freddy.
But yeah.
See, if we're going down like the cameo route, like celebrity cameos that are nods to other things, I would have had a whole different list, because one of my big pops that I like for me was, as daft as it is, the Expendables franchise. So like Expendables 1 was really cool, and then that scene with Arnold in Expendables 1 was great to see. But then when they made Expendables 2, I think it was Expendables 2, where you have where Chuck Norris randomly pops up.
Yeah.
And he fires one bullet and manages to destroy an entire army with explosions, and like everything ricochets. And it's like, it was like they were playing into the whole Chuck Norris is the biggest badass kind of thing. But yeah, like that to me was like the biggest like cameo pop I've ever seen. I remember in the cinema being stupidly excited, because I grew up on a diet of 80s action heroes. So seeing all those guys on the screen together for the first time was awesome.
The another big one for me that I didn't really understand at the time was in Hot Shots Part 2. Do you remember that one? And it's where Charlie Sheen sees Martin Sheen on the boat, and obviously they say to each other like, I loved you in Wall Street," which is really cool. And I just thought that's what it was. I thought, oh, it's his dad. Like they put his dad in the film and just whatever. But obviously that was a character from why have I forgot the film?
Wolf of Wall Street.
No. Wolf of Wall Street is years later. It'll come to me. But no, it's gone. But yeah, but he's obviously playing a character in a film that I hadn't watched, that I was too young to watch and understand. So I just thought that it was just a nod to the fact it was his dad, and that was just like a cool little thing. But then obviously when I was older, I was like, oh, okay, that's a really kind of sideways cameo, which is quite cool. But I just think Marvel movies kind of killed it a little bit. It made it quite exciting for a time, but now if you actually think about it, with the MCU, something can't come out without people going, who's going to cameo, who's going to show up, what's the after credit scene going to lead to, like all of those things. And it's almost become an expectation of a film. So much so that the other kind of films in the superhero genre are following suit and kind of putting those little things in, because like another one for me would have been Ben Affleck's Batman in Suicide Squad, because it was him showing up as the character in a different film, but then it is part of the bigger universe, even though those characters never really crossed over. Same as with The Flash. Like The Flash had loads of cameos if you think about it. Like Christopher Reeve's Superman showing up in The Flash. Jack Nicholson, Nicolas Cage's Superman showing up in The Flash. Like they're big pops, they're big cameos, but they, and that's just the scratching the surface. Do you know what I mean? But they didn't really have a massive effect, because it was kind of like, oh, okay, well, it's what superhero films do nowadays. So yeah,
and as well. I know I was young at the time, but I remember like Dusk Till Dawn.
Yes.
So even I knew that was Tom Savini. Even I knew who he was at that time. You know what I mean? And all the different people in that movie it felt like I knew that it was Quentin Tarantino, the director, was in that movie. Yeah. And stuff like that. So like stuff like that I was like aware of, and I always thought that was like a really cool like cameo, if you will. And, like having like Danny Trejo, you always noticed as a kid when Danny Trejo popped up, because he looks the way he looks. He stands out, doesn't he? And obviously like Cheech Marion and they like Cheech and Chong when they show up, and so them kind of films, like, because obviously like the what's he called, Robert Rodriguez, his movies and obviously Quentin Tarantino share a lot of crossover cameos. Desperado, Once Upon a Time in Mexico, and they all kind of cross over with each other. They always are cameo in each other's films.
I mean that's how it is. I mean Tarantino and M. Night Shenanigans, they always kind of cameoed in their in their
in Inglourious, you've got Roth. You've got Eli Roth.
Yeah,
There's the bear. The bear Jew.
yeah, yeah. That
Got a
was
man who wants to die for
know,
country.
yeah. That's very true. That is
That feels like a cameo
very
to me because
true.
there's another
But no,
director.
there are. There's lots of. Yeah. Okay. No, I'll give you that. I'll give you that.
You see what I mean? Like,
I always used to really enjoy the M Night Shenanigans cameos like in his films. I always used to really like him. But yeah. But no,
yeah,
I
like
thought
Stephen
that
King
was
too, and like when Stephen King turned up in Sons of Anarchy. I mean, that were a big pop at the time because he turned up as one of his characters from his books. He was the bag of bones man. He was the man that removed the bodies, wasn't he? Because and then kind of like he more or less implied that he ate them.
Yeah.
He played one of his own characters basically in that, but they didn't say it, but it was.
Yeah, that is very true. I'd completely forgotten about that.
And I think there's a scene in Bride of Chucky at the very beginning when Tiffany steals Chucky from the police lockup. I'm pretty sure you see Freddy and Jason's gloves and stuff. Bride of Chucky, let me find it. I'm sure there's something in that beginning scene. Bride of Chucky, police scene. Ba-ba-ba-ba. There's something in that very beginning bit where you see, like, it's when she picks up Chucky for the first time and he's all mangled up and she has to staple him back together.
I have to just interrupt. Apocalypse Now is who Martin Sheen's character is. He plays the can't remember the name of the character, but his character in Hot Shots is the same character that he played in Apocalypse Now. Obviously, he's much older than when he was in Apocalypse Now, but Apocalypse Now wasn't a film I'd seen at the time when Hot Shots came out, so I was kind of like, oh right, that's cool, it's his dad. But no, it's yeah. But yeah. Shelley said, "Did you mention Stan Lee in all the Marvel movies? I was briefly distracted." We'll get to that in a sec. We'll get to that in a sec.
Get to that, yeah. There you go.
Yeah, you're right.
So you can see Freddy's gloves, Michael's mask, Jason's mask. I believe there's Hellraiser's puzzle cube back there. They basically put as many like relics in there as possible, and that's where she picks up Chucky from.
Where's the puzzle cube?
Freddy's glove, Michael in the middle. There's like a little box. I'm pretty sure that's meant to be the puzzle cube.
Oh right, yeah.
It does zoom in on it on the film, but these are the shots that I could find.
Yeah, that's true. That is true.
Because if you look, they're not actually fully shown. So like Jason's mask isn't Jason's mask; it's just a white hockey mask. And like Michael's mask is just the William Shatner one. It's not the one from the movie. Freddy's glove isn't quite accurate. They've kind of hinted at it without saying it outright.
It looks more like Eminem. Looks more like Eminem. That
hockey mask. Yeah, it does.
Yeah,
that's what I mean. Like sometimes back in the day, but like nowadays, they'd just contact the studios and it'd be fine. Back in the day, that didn't happen because like they wouldn't want Chucky capitalizing on Freddy or capitalizing on Jason, or they wouldn't see that as like a thing. So like as I was saying, like the Freddy cameo in Jason was like big at the time.
Yeah, massively. In regards to what people were saying in the chat, in regards to like Stephen King's cameos, Alfred Hitchcock's cameos, Stan Lee's cameos, they were more kind of people cameos. So we didn't really include them on our list because they were, even though they were playing characters in the film, they weren't playing characters from another film in the film. But you know, I think Stan Lee kind of took the crown of cameos, didn't he? Afterwards, like Stephen King I always quite enjoyed kind of spotting his cameo in his films.
Yeah.
And then, like I said, the M Night Shenanigans, I can never say his name properly, but his cameos was very similar and very much in the vein of Stephen King's kind of stuff. Alfred Hitchcock as well. But then Stan Lee became a bit of a character in each film, didn't he? And they kind of linked them all, and so. But no, it's a fun little thing. And if we did TV shows, there's a whole nother wave of people there.
Sorry, give me one sec. I'll be right back. I will be back in a second. But yes, talk about Bill Murray in Zombieland. That's a great one.
But Bill Murray in Zombieland, I don't know if you'd class that as he doesn't. It's not a character cameo, is it? As much. It's just Bill Murray in Zombieland playing Bill Murray. So I suppose it would be a cameo because he's cameoing as Bill Murray, isn't he? Yeah. I suppose we could have that. But yeah, this was just our little. We were talking about it last week in our chat, like just in messages between each other, and we thought, you know what, let's just put a list together and actually bring it to the show this week. John Hood said Steven Spielberg cameoed in Gremlins. Did he really? Did I know this? Bill Murray playing Bill Murray, but dialed up a few levels. Yes, he did. There was also a George Lucas and Carrie Fisher cameo. What film did they cameo in? Oh, where they were like a couple, weren't they, on a bridge or something? If you know, let us know in the chat. Steven Spielberg cameoing in Gremlins. Do you know about that one, Sorrel?
Oh no, I didn't realise that.
No, I didn't. I was saying, looking at John's picture, seeing Carrie Fisher, there was a George Lucas and Carrie Fisher cameo as well, wasn't there? But what film was that? They played like a character. They played a couple on a. I'm gonna have to look at this.
Oh god, I can't remember. But no, wasn't Carrie Fisher in? What film were it where they went to find out about an actress in a thing? Was that Scream?
Oh, was it?
What film were it? Carrie Fisher cameoed in a movie where they went to find out about an actress. They went in like a thing, and she was like the archive lady, and they even make a reference to, you look a lot like Carrie Fisher, and she's like, oh no, she got the role instead of me. I tried out for the role and she got it.
Do you know what film Carrie Fisher and George Lucas? Yep, Andy H has got it. It's Hook. They're the couple on the bridge. I knew it was something Steven Spielberg, and I was thinking, no, it wasn't Indiana Jones, was it? No, but it's Hook. So that's quite cool. Tom Cruise playing Austin Powers. That's quite a good one as well. That is quite a good one as well.
Yeah, it was Scream 3.
We have another Austin Powers film, aren't we, coming?
Oh god, no, I hope not.
Yeah, supposedly. Speaking of coming back, did you ever get into Heroes when it was on?
Oh god, yeah.
Yeah.
Save the cheerleaders, save the world.
Yeah. But yeah, the Heroes TV show, they obviously had a follow-up series called Heroes Reborn that didn't quite do as well. And then they've just greenlit another one. So there's a new series coming, but it's going to be about completely separate characters. Something along the lines of they announced it ironically as well just after the eclipse, which is like a key part of the thing. And they're going to be following a new bunch of kind of heroes that are, discovering their powers and stuff like that. But Zachary Quinto in Heroes for me was like Sylar. Yeah. Why did I say Skylar? Sylar was one of the best villains. I thought, I absolutely loved him and Peter Petrelli's powers was what. Whenever somebody says to me, what kind of powers would you have? That's what I'd pick, like powers that kind of you can have other powers and stuff like that. Jenko T said, whatever happened to the actor who played Sylar? That's Zachary Quinto. He has done a lot with American Horror Story.
Yeah, he has.
Jump on American Horror Story. He has done so much.
He's also a theatre. He came from theatre, didn't he? And I think he's gone back to theatre quite a few times as well.
Yeah,
he's one of those kind of actors.
He has done some amazing stuff. But American Horror Story for me is some of his best work. You see a completely different side of him. Jump on American Horror Story. Jenko T.
But I tell you what, with here's one that I always thought of as a kid and stuff. And I know these technically aren't cameos because the characters that are crossing over. And back in the day, you didn't get many team up movies. Like now, you wouldn't even bat an eyelid at it because you get so many team up films, like the Pooniverse, for God's sake. But I mean, back in the day, do you remember when League of Extraordinary Gentlemen came out?
Yeah. So
I wasn't aware of the comic. I just saw the movie. And obviously, as a guy who's grew up on a diet of monsters, that was, the Bride of Dracula, and what's he called? The guy who looks in the mirror and gets younger, and they were all literary characters, like Mr. Hyde's in there, the Invisible Man, Nemo and Thousand Leagues Under the Sea, and they were all literary characters and like Universal monstery kind of things. which I thought was amazing, and that to see them all on the screen together was really cool. But then obviously they made Van Helsing, and you see the same sort of CGI Jekyll and Hyde in that, and Van Helsing fighting him.
Yeah.
And it's sort of set within that same kind of steampunky almost sort of universe.
Yeah.
Because like, how else do you explain that bloody crossbow being automatic in Victorian era?
I love Van Helsing. I really loved it. I thought it was fantastic. Another one as well for me, when it does come to like superhero films, and they did it more in the X-Men films than they did in the Marvel films, but it's when they put characters from the comic books but very kind of subtly. So in like Wolverine Origins, where you've got Deadpool and Wolverine together, obviously for the first time, when they go in and they rescue the younger mutants and stuff, and there's a handful of mutants in there that kind of represent characters from the comic books, but they never really officially tell you that they're these people. I quite like those kind of little cameos as well.
Yeah, that'd be good. There's so many, and there's, I mean, like, if you look at Scooby-Doo, for God's sake, look how many different people he's interacted with.
Oh, I know, massively. Jenko said, not seen any of American Horror Story. I'm on it, chaps. Yeah, get on it. You will not be disappointed. Personal favourite series is Asylum. I think Asylum is phenomenal, which is series 2, series 3. Murder House being the first series is phenomenal, like really, really good. The earlier seasons are definitely the better ones, I think.
Before they started doing that weird split season-y thing.
Yeah, I didn't like that. I didn't like that, where they did like one story on one and then one story on another. Andy H said they're all on Disney Plus. Yes, they are all on Disney Plus.
Are.
Be aware though that you have American Horror Story and you have American Horror Stories. American Horror Stories are essentially just kind of like a grown-up version of Goosebumps. They're like each episode is a story in itself. It's a self-contained story. But in American Horror Stories, there are a couple of episodes that take place in the murder house from season 1 of American Horror Story. But each season is a self-contained kind of story arc. You kind of start the story, you end the story. A couple of them a little bit questionable. But yeah.
Series 3.
Yeah. It's series 3 is Freak Show.
No, series 3 is The Coven.
Wow, you like series 3 the best?
Mm-hmm. The Coven is my favourite of all the seasons.
Really? Wow.
I like the soundtrack. I like the setting. It's New Orleans. I love New Orleans, and the fact that they've got a mixture of Wiccan and voodoo. They go with the whole, they bring out basically like the Papa Shango style, Dr. Facilier sort of deities. Okay. Then you've got all the jazz music. Obviously, we get a cameo from, I forgot her name.
Stevie Nicks.
Yeah, Stevie Nicks is in there. It's such a good series, that one.
Yeah, Stevie Nicks coming out as like the High Witch is just phenomenal.
Mm-hmm. I even like when the council turns up and you've basically got that the frizzy ginger-haired older lady, and they basically burn her at the stake, and
you know what? Actually, the more we talk about it, Coven is actually a good series. It is a good series. There's a couple that are questionable. Things like, I wouldn't even want to rank them. But no, Asylum for me was a really good one. Like a really, really good one. But I really liked as well, not Ragnarok, what was it called? Roanoke.
Oh, yeah. That was good.
And the reason I liked it is when it started, I hated it. Like the first couple of episodes, I absolutely hated it because I was like, this isn't American Horror Story. Like, I don't like this. But as the series continued and then it concluded, I was like, that was actually really cleverly done. Yeah, some of them are really good. Some of them are really, really good.
The one that I thought was the most questionable, what was that? Was the one with the election. Basically, it felt like they were trying to poke at Trump too much in that, and it was very political. And
that the one with the aliens?
Was there aliens in it at the end? I can't remember. But it was the one with the clowns and stuff, where the clowns had turned up and murdered people in their houses, but it turned out to be the guy who ends up being the president by the end of it.
Oh yes, yeah, no. I'm thinking about the alien one where they basically abduct people, and yeah, the alien one was quite freaky. I American Horror Story Cult. Yeah, Cult was very good. That was a very good one. But I must admit that the most disappointing one today for me is the very most recent one with what's the name? Julia Roberts' niece.
Right. Okay.
Emma Roberts. It's just Julia Roberts' niece. Yeah, Emma Roberts. And I love her in it. I think she's such a good, like, she plays some really good characters in the shows, because a lot of the characters like come back as different characters in the later ones. And I think she's phenomenal. But this latest one, I don't know whether it's because Kim Kardashian was in this one, and I was like, nah. Like, I remember when they announced Lady Gaga being in Hotel, and everyone kicked off because I was like, oh, Lady Gaga, like American Horror Story sold out, like, you know, whatever. But she's a phenomenal performer. Like, she's just fantastic.
I just have to say, Jenko T, if you think that was spoilers, mate, you haven't even seen the program yet. There are so many twists and turns in these damn things.
Yeah.
So I mean, we've not even scratched the surface here.
Honestly, we haven't even. Yeah, there is no.
So much going on in these programs.
My one word of advice would be to watch it in release order.
Yes.
Watch it from series 1 all the way through. Don't jump ahead. Just watch series 1 and then just go from there, because, as I said, a lot of the actors kind of come back, you know, as other characters in other series, and it's just kind of cool to see them do completely different characters. Evan Peters as well. Evan Peters from WandaVision, sort of like, who showed up as her brother as Quicksilver in WandaVision. In American Horror Story is phenomenal. Like, absolutely phenomenal.
That launched his career, didn't it? Really, for Evan Peters.
Massively. So yeah, so we're getting Heroes back. Heroes is coming back. Not a lot's been said about it. I think Noah Bennett, like the main character, the what is it, horn-rimmed glasses guy, is obviously back. But you know, that's an action figure line as well. Talking Toys. Do you remember who was it that did it? It wasn't NECA, was it?
Did what film? Sorry, what film was it about?
Who did the Heroes figures?
Oh, Heroes. Might have been either McFarlane or NECA, but they were very basic.
Yeah, they were really basic.
It might have been McFarlane, or even Funko. It'd been Funko for a little while. They did those weird. They did like a Fallout figure, a Skyrim figure. They made a bunch of weird ones, like Game of Thrones figures. They made a bunch of them back in the day. They were like 5 inches tall, and they were very weird figures.
I mean, I collected most of the Heroes figures. It was one of them ones where I was like, you know what, I'm going to go back and I'm going to collect them all, and I kind of collected them all. But they were so basic that I was like, these are just not cool, not fun to have on the shelf. Like, I'm not fussed about these at all. But it's all good. It's all good. Have we actually had any toy news this week?
Yeah. Have we ever? So
NECA.
Sorry, go on.
No, go on. I was going to feel while you were loading up, but you got it ready.
Oh, I haven't got it ready, but I was just going to start talking. Basically, NECA put out one hell of a release this week. They are basically making a brand new American Werewolf in London figure, and it's the two boys. Just give me one sec. Let me get the
American Werewolf.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here we go.
That's an awesome 2-pack.
It is. Here we go. Let me show you these bad boys.
I'm guessing these are going to be on your list.
Oh yeah, mate. Pre-orders already in with NECA. I've started pre-ordering direct with NECA because they ship first. Before they ship to retailers, they ship to the people that pre-order them on their website.
Well,
So you get them earlier. So I missed out on the Saw figure, and it annoys the hell out of me that there's a bunch of people that are like sending me pictures on TikTok, and I'm like, yeah, I'm still waiting for mine. Anyway, so yeah, we've got they call it the Goodman Kessler 2-pack. We've got them in their sort of human forms from the beginning, but then as we go through the pack, you'll see they've got the backpacks and everything, and all the stuff they're carrying, which is awesome. But if we go through, there's going to be thousands of pictures on this, by the way. Here we go. So you can turn him into the zombie version,
which is very cool.
That is so. Look at that.
And if I remember rightly,
so
he comes with alternate arms, alternate jacket, and an alternate head.
Even the vampire, like werewolfy vampire head.
Yeah.
Yep, it's so good.
Yeah. Zombie version comes with like 3 different heads.
There you
Yeah,
go.
there we go. 3 different heads. So there's not a lot of accessories there when you actually look at it.
It's
but
because you're getting an alternate torso, heads, arms. It's when they did the Michael Myers pack for Loomis, you basically got his trench coat and then a set of different arms, so you could have him either with the jacket on or jacket off. So
Yeah.
it gave you like 2 sets of arms, a different jacket, and then you barely got any accessories with it. But when you get stuff like that where you've got alternate bits to put on the figure, I prefer that. I do prefer that.
Oh, massively. Well, you've only got to look like what? There's 22 photos in that slideshow, and
Yeah.
how they look like different figures in each photo. Like,
Yup. Excited
very
about
cool. Very, very cool. When's that due out?
that. I don't know off the top of my head. Sorry, I've just literally closed the thing. Let me ever go back on it. Open for pre-ordering. Doesn't say. Doesn't have a release date yet, and neither does NECA. But this one got me excited. Mondo have just announced Megan.
Okay.
That's the only picture we've got so far. They're just teasing it. But a lot of companies are jumping on Megan, aren't they? A lot of companies are going for it.
Yeah. This is 1/6 scale as well. So just to point out, they've just literally dropped their 1/6 scale Rogue figure based on the X-Men animated series, and she's stunning, but she is pricey.
Mondo was always out.
So yeah, a 1/6 scale Megan obviously won't be 1/6 scale. Like, it won't be like a
No.
regular kind of sized figure, because obviously she's smaller.
Mhm.
If it wasn't Mondo, I'd be concerned about not seeing any like the face. But I think you're in pretty safe hands with Mondo. I think it's going to be a safe bet.
100%. And the other big news this week was that McFarlane is going to be working with Marvel.
Yes.
This was a bit of big news, really, because they don't really work together.
No. So this is an interesting one because it's coming into. It's not an action figure to start with, so they're not doing action figures.
Yeah.
They're statues.
And I believe it is based on. It's got to be based on the artwork of McFarlane, hasn't it?
No,
It's
there
his
are
artwork.
other.
Oh, right.
No, there are others as well. Let me get it up because I actually posted about this when it came out. But there's two scales, which straight away I thought was quite interesting. A lot of people thought that this was going to be action figures, that we were going to see action figures. I remember we talked about it a little while back, and we sort of said, are they going to be like the page punchers that they've been doing for like DC? But no, they're going to be statues. And there's a little picture there. So they are based on comic book covers. So that's not the comic book cover it's based on, but they are based on comic book covers. So these are, I liken them very much to the kind of early Diamond Select figures that we got, where you would get like a big diorama base and you would get a limited articulation action figure. Whereas these come with a diorama base, but they also come with like the statue. They are pre-posed. So basically what I've said on my Instagram is that they're coming in both 110 and 1/6 scales. So the 110 line is going to celebrate figures inspired by the artistry of Todd McFarlane, Jim Lee, Steve Ditko, JR, and Rob Liefeld, and showcase iconic characters such as Spider-Man, Wolverine, Iron Man, and Deadpool. These will be set within an environmental base and include a diorama backdrop to complete the final presentation. So they are basically the covers of certain artists. So we only saw the kind of grayed out Wolverine and Iron Man, and Deadpool and another Spider-Man there as well. So that's the comic book Spider-Man. The other side of it, the 1/6 scale figures recreate McFarlane's iconic cover of The Amazing Spider-Man issue 323, and Captain America as well from issue 323 as well. Yeah. No, Captain America issue 323. Oh no, sorry, Amazing Spider-Man issue 323, but the Captain America on that issue of Spider-Man. These figures feature a comic reprint and are mounted on an environmental base with a diorama backdrop. So these ones that you're looking at here are 1/6 scale. So they are going to be a large, it's going to be a large piece, if you think it's 1/6 scale, that's the same kind of scale as Hot Toys. So they are going to be a big beefy character. If you think that Captain America there is going to be the size of a Hot Toy, with a comic reprint and a diorama background. My only concern is the price, where that's going to land, because if they're 1/6 scale and they're coming with a diorama and they're coming with a comic reprint, I think these are going to be quite pricey.
Yeah.
So yeah. So I'm a bit of a, I'm not fussed. I'm really not fussed. I'd rather invest that money in a Hot Toy than a statue, a McFarlane statue, unless they are really, really mint. But then you're not gonna know until they're out anyway. So there we go.
One thing this week as well that really got my attention was Funko. Funko have been putting out some pictures left, right, and centre this week, and people have been sharing them all over the internet. Yep. And they're really going hard for Halloween this year. Now, like normally they release a few, like you get a few horror pops, and you might get maybe a line of like crossover ones. Like you might get a few things.
Yeah.
But mate, they're going hard this year. So let me load up these images. So we're gonna get a Halloween Looney Tunes line, where you've got Bugs as the mummy, you got Mav the Martian, and then Sylvester and the pumpkin, and Tweety as a witch. I think they're quite cool.
Yeah, they are very cool.
Very, very similar to the ones that they did with Disney the other year. But this got my attention big style because it's based on the original black and white Addams Family. So we've got Gomez holding the pumpkin, you've got the original Wednesday in the blue dress, Morticia in the big chair, and Fester in the house, and they're such a cool set.
Yeah, that would look very cool. There's obviously a little bit missing. There's a couple of characters missing there from the lineup. Obviously Pugsley and Lurch are not there. So whether they're going to come as follow-up figures or whether the line is just going to be those four.
No, they will do it 100%.
I got two Funkos this week.
Yeah?
Yeah, I don't buy Funkos, but I got two. I got two more of these. I got the 8-bit Leonardo and I got Rocksteady, which is cool. So yeah, I've got two of the 8-bit ones now and two of the regular ones. A Rocksteady and an April O'Neil. Oh, I just dropped them all off the shelf.
No!
Yeah, but they're cool. They're cool. I'm hooked now. I need the whole lineup of turtles, but we shall see. We shall see.
So as well, this is just the crossover you never knew you needed, isn't it? Care Bears and Universal Monsters.
You know what's really ironic is I actually spoke to my wife this afternoon and said, why have we not had a comeback for Care Bears yet? Like, why has Care Bears not made a really big comeback?
Oh, have you clearly not been to HMV recently?
Nope.
Mate, HMV have a wall of Care Bears right now.
Oh, do they?
Yep, and they're going hard with the sort of like alternate horror goth kind of look. So you've got like the orange Care Bear has got like a skeleton costume on. There's one of them's holding a pumpkin, and they've got loads of like Halloweeny ones that are already out.
Oh, okay.
And they've got a mystery mini series that you can buy, and they've got loads of like offers on them to try and get people buying them again. But like Trolls are back as well. Have you seen them?
What, the Trolls with the hair?
Yeah, the original Trolls with the hair.
No way.
They are back. Yeah, they've got a rocker troll, which is in a leather jacket and jeans. They've got a good look troll, which is the original design with yellow hair, with a yellow diamond in its belly button, and then it's just naked.
Oh, right.
But yeah, they're even doing a little mini series with like tiny ones, like pencil toppery ones with hair and stuff like we had in the 90s. And
oh,
so they're in Smiths right now.
Those trolls were the bane of my life. Everyone in school had one of them trolls with a pencil up their backside. Like everyone had them. Like if you didn't have a pencil with a troll on the top, you just weren't cool. Like they, yeah, look, that's my turtles lineup. So I've got the regular Leo and the regular Mikey and the 8-bit Leo and the 8-bit Mikey. I need the other 4 now. I need both versions, the 8-bit ones for Donatello and Raphael, and the regular ones. And if I can get the other 4, I'll be happy.
Well, yeah, I mean those itty bitties. I've got all the Five Nights at Freddy ones, and I've now got all the ones from Nightmare Before Christmas.
Yeah.
But there's another rabbit hole for me to fall down now.
Which one?
Let me show you. Let me bring this up because this is just so cool.
See, I've got these 2, but I'm not fussed about the other characters. I'm really not bothered about the other ones. I'd just like to get the 4 turtles in both versions.
Minions as the Universal Monsters.
Oh man. Okay.
And there's a 4th one that's a chase one, and it's the other one dressed as the Mummy. So
really? Okay.
I kind of want them, so I'm going to be buying those now.
Yeah.
Let me show you
how expensive they were. I got that 4-pack from Smiths, and it was like reduced down to like £4, £5 or something like that. And then the individual blind bags were like dead cheap as well. So I was like, okay, I'll grab a couple of them. And I got 3 Rocksteadies and an 8-bit Leo, and I was like, oh mate, come on, I just want the turtles.
You want to talk about expensive? It's $14.99 for one of these little trolls now.
What?
So I mean, they're not as cheap, but he's just Ken by the looks of that pink jacket.
These were a line that were bootlegged to high hell as well back in the 90s.
Yeah, they were.
Like
He-Man, wasn't it? 'Cause they were just one mold, wasn't it? So they just bootlegged them.
I just don't. I honestly don't know what was an official troll and what was a bootleg back in the day. Like they were just, everyone had them. You got them at the markets, you got them at the boot sales, you got them at the toy stores, and I genuinely couldn't tell the difference between a bootlegged one and an official one.
Maybe these ones will be a little bit more nostalgic for you then.
Wow.
So these are like the original trolls.
They really are. That's just, yeah, they're the pencil top troll. I don't remember all the different coloured skins though.
I just remember modernized, should we say?
I just remember them being like one shade.
They were one shade, weren't they? They didn't have them different skin tones back then. No. That wasn't a thing.
But I'm not surprised because like with the popularity of the troll movies, and I know that the troll movies are a different kind of style of troll, but they were like a modernization of these trolls, weren't they?
Yeah.
So I'm not surprised with the popularity of those films that they're trying to bring back the toy line. But I just don't know if kids nowadays are cool enough to have a troll pencil topper at school. I just don't think it would fit. Like, yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I don't think it would work like it did back in the 90s.
No.
Back in the 90s, it was a thing. I know this is really sad. It makes it sound old, doesn't it? It was a thing, wasn't it, to go out and get like a new pencil case and pen, pencil, rubber, ruler before you went back to school. And everyone had different tins, and you would compare what tin you got. And it was ridiculous. Like, everyone had a different rubber. Like I had a big one that said Nintendo on it, and everybody wanted to use it because it was Nintendo. It was so stupid. Yeah. But yeah, that's what it was like back then.
Oh yeah, it's just not as cool as it was back then. Talking about kind of retros and toy lines as well, we've got to give a quick mention to the Street Fighter line. So the Dalsim and Bison figures have been showing up in Smiths of all places.
I saw them the other day.
Ahead of the independent retailers that have been selling them. So you have your independent retailers that do a lot of pre-orders and stuff for people. A lot of people pre-ordered these figures, and then out of nowhere, Smiths just kind of dropped that they had it in stock, and people were ordering them for home delivery, and they were turning up the next day. People were walking into stores and picking them up as well, retailing at $24.99. So they are out there, and I think it's a really positive move to have a new figure line that's readily available if you want it. That makes sense.
And the fact that you can literally go on Smith's website and buy every single figure from the line so far. They're all available at Smith's now, online. They're not sold out. They're all available in stock. So, I mean, if you want to get into the line now, now's the perfect time. You can grab all of them. Every single figure is there.
The only ones that obviously isn't is the convention exclusive Ryu.
They haven't got that one
But
yet.
yeah,
I don't think they ever will though.
and there was pictures as well of like a pink Chun-Li showing up as well. But I don't know if it was
they're doing it. It's a player 2 variant. So you know when you play, if 2 people played as Chun-Li on the game, so you could tell the difference. One would be a different color. So basically, they're doing that. Like obviously, the Ryu that was the convention exclusive was the sort of grey Ryu. Or evil Ryu as they call it in the anime and stuff, but basically that's a player 2 skin as far as I'm aware, isn't it? And then you've got that pink Chun-Li and
until they do the blue Blanca, I'm not interested.
I'm not sure. He's not listed. He's not, because they're all on the back of the box. If you look at the back of the box, you can see the alternate ones as well. They're all there. I believe so. Anyway, double check. Yeah, I'm sure they had the alternate ones on there.
They've only got the Ryu and Ken on here.
Let me have a look. Street Fighter.
Yeah.
Jedi toys.
So the Ryu and Ken, but we haven't seen a white-haired Ken yet.
No, not yet.
No. But yeah, it's cool. But they've also re-released they've re-released them they've where you on the back of the box you got the 3 characters. They've done a re-release where you've just got a single picture of the character, and the figure in the box is supposedly of a higher quality, where they've kind of re-released them as well.
All right.
So people kind of chasing down the re-released version. So look, with Ken, it's just got a single picture.
Oh right, okay.
And they've re-released the Wave 1 with the single pictures as well. Whether they are actually more superior figures or not, I don't know.
I doubt it.
I don't think they're actually. I haven't had them out of the box, but I actually don't think they're that bad.
No, they're great figures. I've had them out of the box. I've played with them. They're brilliant figures.
Yeah.
I'm not grabbing any more. Like I'm done with the Wave. But I mean, it is a very good line. It would be cool for all of them, but
I would very much like to have a full lineup. Do you know what I mean? Like have all the characters, and if they do, as long as they kind of keep releasing them, and they don't then kind of go back and give us 3 versions of Ryu and 10 versions of Ken. Do you know what I mean? As long as they keep releasing new figures, it's a line that I would definitely stay more invested in.
Yeah, so the next 2 I believe are coming out. I believe it's Cammy and Blanca. I think are the next 2.
Yeah, we also
and then I think Sagat's coming. Sagat's maybe in that wave as well.
We saw
Depends if they release
Sagat.
them as 2 or 3s.
Sagat and Vega as well. We saw.
Yeah, and Guile has got a figure as well, and so has DJ.
Yeah, so that's quite a lot when you think about it. What's that? And that's another 5 or 6. So we've already got 6 now out. So then that's a good 12. I mean, that's a nice setup for any fans of Street Fighter. So yeah, no, I'll be well up for that. And the thing is they are branded up as Street Fighter 2, but of course you can branch out into the other games as well. So there are more characters that you can actually kind of go down the line of getting. I think before we do get to the end of the show, we have got to obviously touch on the fact that it was MCM Comic Con this weekend as well, just gone. MCM do 2 Comic Cons a year. They do their October kind of main show. I always class that as the main show because that's where you really get a lot of the kind of news. You kind of get reveals and stuff like that. And then they have their summer offering as well in May. I've never been to the May one. It's just, I think it's because it's very close to my daughter's birthday, so I've never made my way down there for the May one. But yeah, the only kind of real news that I picked up on was that the In Demand Toys had all of the 85th anniversary Marvel Legends on display.
Yeah,
which, you know, for anyone interested was obviously very cool. I think it was a little bit confusing though, because a lot of people thought that there was going to be a reveal there by Hasbro because they were displaying these figures, but I've seen a whole bunch of pictures from various people down there that have kind of shared them online and stuff, and yeah, for the most part they look quite cool if that's what you're into. There's some interesting looking figures.
Yeah, they had all the Star Wars ones, Black Series on display as well. Jedi News put all those pictures up earlier today.
Yep.
So they
were all the Accolade figures, weren't they? And the Princess Leia and stuff like that. Yeah, I mean that's cool. I mean it's quite a cool idea that they're kind of getting those figures down, especially through a retailer as well. So they're actually on show and people can actually see them in hand. I think unless you were following Hasbro or following in-demand toys, you might have got a bit confused as to whether they were on sale or not. Because
Yeah.
if you're just kind of a general Joe public walking in and seeing this figure behind the glass, you would kind of go, well, how do I get my hands on these?
I personally didn't understand why Hasbro teamed up with In Demand.
No, I'm not sure.
Why didn't Hasbro just, like, have their own booth? I don't understand how that worked or why that worked that way.
No.
I think that's where a lot of the confusion lies. Obviously, everyone knows In Demand when you go to Comic Con. Everyone knows that logo, and they're obviously selling figures. And obviously, people are rocking up, seeing these new acolytes. Like, I'll take them, please. It's like, I can't sell them. It was weird. It was a very weird setup.
The only way I could imagine it happened was that some kind of piggyback or some kind of work off, because obviously traders have to purchase their stands there. They have to pay to be there.
Yeah.
And from when I've seen the price lists, the trader stands aren't cheap. Let's put it that way. You wouldn't get one the size of In Demand's one if you weren't sure that you could sell your product. If you're a new company or a new trader or something. So I'm thinking that there had to be some kind of, back scratching and sort of like, I don't know, something along those lines. Let us show off our figures and we'll front a third of the cost or something like that. Yeah. But yeah, it did confuse a lot of people, which I think is not bad, but it's a shame, because I think if you were excited for a reveal and kind of waiting on tenterhooks for like a reveal and not getting it, that's always a little bit of a shame. But at the same token, they revealed the Hulkbuster just before the convention, so they are trickling them out. But yeah, no, it's cool. They had a lot of new Transformers, they had a lot of new Star Wars, and of course they had a lot of new Marvel on display there. But apart from that, I don't think there were any other retailers or brands that kind of revealed anything.
Not at the May one. October's where you'll see that. October there'll be a bunch of movie companies there and other stuff. Because it wasn't just the London one this weekend. Like Newcastle, I think, had one over the course of the weekend. There was an Unleashed one in Hull, I think, this weekend. So there was quite a few up and down the country Comic Cons today. Yeah. So last 2 days. Obviously, the London ones always do on the bank holiday, because I think they run for 3 or 4 days, don't they? Usually on the Friday, don't they? Start Friday,
usually Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Yeah.
But yeah, the London one will be where you'll get the big Hasbro booth and all the big reveals and releases.
Yeah, that's always good fun, because there's always like panels as well with the various different brands and stuff like that. So.
It was the May one that I went to when I met what's she called? The Disney artist lady, I've forgotten her name. Miss Mindy. When I went down to London, I was invited down to London by Disney and Esco, who released them. That's the showcase, like fancy sculptures and stuff. And they asked me to go down and would I interview Miss Mindy, who was the artist that designed all these things. And I got to spend the rest of the weekend at the Comic Con free of charge. And I tell you what, it was a damn big event when I went. I've only ever done MCM London twice. The May one is just as big as the October one. It is just as big. There's a lot more sellers than the May one.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's very. The way I always kind of look at it is, if you were going to really kind of spend money, the May one's a good one to go to, because it's just as big. There's just as many kind of traders and stuff there, but it's a little bit less busy in the respect that a lot of people come to the October one expecting to see reveals and stuff like that, which is cool. But did you see who was the last minute guest at the May one though?
Nope.
This weekend? Flipping Boba Fett himself.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I didn't see that.
I can never pronounce his name, but the guy that played Jango Fett and obviously Boba Fett in Book of Boba Fett literally was announced days before the event. Like I think I'd even go as far as saying like Wednesday, Thursday, he was announced there. Photo ops were like £110, I think, though. And autographs were like £85, something like that.
MCM are naughty though, aren't they? Because they charge a lot. MCM, I think. Personally.
Yeah. The prices have shot up. Like when I met Jason David Frank, like the prices were nowhere near that high. And it was the same experience you get. You get a very limited time there. You get a quick snap and you get a photo, and it's kind of like, and I only got it as a present, but it wasn't anywhere near as pricey as that. But £85 for a photo is a lot of money, you know.
Yeah, what annoys me as well is when you go on the website to try and find out who the guests are, it's just full, isn't it? It looks like they've got hundreds of guests. But
Oh yeah,
it's insane when you look at it. It's like they put all together.
yeah,
So you have your entertainment, your comic, your literary, and your like YouTubers all on the same page.
yeah. It's mad how you know full that list is. But yeah, I mean it's cool. It's cool, and obviously that wrapped today, so there was no real kind of big news coming out of that.
No, it would. I'm looking forward to that because this weekend coming up, I'm going to the Doncaster Comic Con.
Yeah.
So I'm really looking forward to that. Seeing what I can find there.
Here you go. Jenko T has just posted a comment about the inflation here. 2016 meeting Mark Hamill at Celebration was £60. This year at Celebration they wanted £300 for a Ewan McGregor meet. Unreal. I mean, that is phenomenally, like, that's over 4 times the price.
Do you know that's why you'll never see like Ian McKellen and things at these Comic Cons, because he refuses to pay.
Yeah.
He refuses to let people pay for his autograph, basically.
I remember, I think it was last year or maybe the year before. No, I think it was the year before, and Tom Hiddleston was there.
Yeah.
And it was ridiculous. It was like 400 quid for like an autograph and a photo. Like,
and he went out to meet all the other Lokis, didn't he? And the MCM company went mad with him.
yeah,
And said, you can't do that. And it's like, he wanted to do it for his fans. I mean, who the hell's going to tell him no? It's Tom Hiddleston, for God's sake.
yeah.
But yeah,
He's Loki.
But it's like when they tried to control that guy from Stranger Things as well, isn't it? When they oversold his tickets.
Yeah.
And he went mental, didn't he? He hated that. He went nuts.
Oh, that was just exploitation at its best. Like, it was, unreal, absolutely unreal. But yeah, that was about it for the week. It wasn't loads, was there?
No, but I tell you what, I did go to my local market, and the Lego lady was there. She's not been there for a few weeks.
Ooh.
So I did get excited, I'm not going to lie, because I managed to get my hands on a Samara from The Ring.
Oh, wow. Is that just a hairpiece on backwards?
Yeah, it's just a hairpiece on backwards. Georgie.
Genius.
Hello, Georgie.
Oh, cool, Georgie. He's got both his hands, though.
I know, I pulled one off my photo that I did with him.
Take a hand off.
And then my personal favourite, I think will be your favourite too. Pinhead.
Oh, wow. He's cool looking.
So yeah, I'm building a nice little collection of horror ones now.
Yeah. I tell you what, we've got a Lego guy as well on our local market, and yeah, I picked up a couple off of him. Like, I took my boys down there, and it's like, 4 for a £5 or whatever it is, and I was like, there's a £5. Go and get some Lego figures, and some of them were quite cool. Others were questionable, and I was
I always stop for the good ones. I mean, like, they did an updated Beetlejuice. Like, my original Beetlejuice were crap. But then he's done an updated one now, and they've put the Joker hair on it, so it just looks 10 times better.
Oh yeah, that's massively better. Yeah.
That reminds me of like the Broadway version, because the hair's that like big, fluffy sort of, like, it reminds me of like Thingy's version.
Yeah.
But like, I mean, it was awesome to get like Wednesday and stuff like that. Like the Wednesday one's awesome.
That's cool.
And I love the fact that even Chucky, because he's on the right body, he's on the kid's body, so.
That's cool.
Yeah, I love them. But I got upset because I kept seeing on the internet, people were sending me and going, have you found this one yet? And they're Sam from Trick or Treat. I was no. So like, my wife's been online, she's like, Father's Day coming up. She's like, don't buy one on eBay. Yes.
You know what you want to get? You want to go to Smith's and get one of them Lego cases. Have you seen those?
Put them all in.
Cases. I picked one up, and they've got the larger version that has a LED light in it, like a battery operated LED light, and then they've got a smaller version that is just the case. And I picked up one of each, and I gave my boys one, and then I kept the large one. But they're actually really good for what they are.
The problem is
good.
The reason these are in a little bag like this is because I take them on location with me because I'm sad. And like, let me just get the pieces out that I did like the other day, because this made me laugh. So like, you know, when it's sunny outside and you're out and you see an opportunity to make a really funny photo and it's summer, so you kind of get Beetlejuice and you take his legs off and you get a little green rubber ring. See, you put him in like a little rubber ring, and then you put the short ones on to make it see, because they're even pinstripes as well to match. So there you go. You can have him floating around in your hot tub. So no, I take these. I started taking figures out with me into the real world because obviously I do them shorts where I just like post figures in poses or whatever, and I've started doing them outside and playing around. So I have like a couple of figures in my backpack, and I have this little baggie of Lego everywhere.
You know
I go
what you
with
should
me.
do? Here's a shorts idea for you. Pick up some doubles of those figures off the market guy, and then go out in York or whatever and hide one somewhere and just do a video of the location and see if someone can find it.
Well, the thing is, right, I would do that, but the Ghost Company do that.
Oh,
so
do they?
These people who make these in York, which this is the best money spinner I've ever seen in my life, they basically make these little pot ceramic ghosts in different designs. I got a white and black one. And they basically will hide a couple of these every day around York and take a photo of the location and say, if you can find it, you can have it. You know, there's a ghost loose in York, go find it. And they even do like little baby ones too. Oh
wow.
But yeah, they've got a shop and people queue up for 4 hours to get into that shop.
Wow.
I went on a Sunday. It opened at 10 and I had to queue from 8 just to get in. Now I still wasn't the first in the queue.
I remember your video when you went. It's definitely somewhere I'd like to go. Definitely.
Oh, the shambles is amazing. But did you see my absolute bargain that I picked up this weekend as well?
No.
See, I had no clue what these were at the time. I just picked them up because I thought they looked really cool. But it was Andy and the guys in the comments were shouting at me as to what they were and how much they were worth. But I found these little toy cars, and there's like a Dracula one.
Yeah.
And there's a little spaceship with an alien.
I remember these.
A zombie hearse. And like an evil Frankenstein kind of guy. And a clown in a clown car. And they're called Monster 500. I've never seen these before in my life. I may have done when I was a kid and I just don't remember them. But I picked these up from the British Heart Foundation in a bag. You know when they do them like toys in a bag and they hang them up?
Yeah.
So it was £2 for the lot. Wow. These sell for about 10 quid a piece on eBay.
Wow, bargain.
Absolute bargain. But obviously, as a big Monsters fan, these were like especially the hearse. It was the hearse that I saw that I loved.
Yeah, that
cool. Just looks like it's straight out of the Munsters.
Yeah, that is very cool. I remember those. I do remember those. I think I had one. Can't remember which one.
Yes, you know when you're about shorts ideas. Well, Wacky Races is coming to life, people.
That's awesome. That's very cool. That's
horror races.
That is very cool. That brings us to a conclusion this week. That really does bring us up. Been a good week. Obviously, we did a Geek Week Plus earlier in the week, talking about a lot of the movie review releases and Beetlejuice trailer and all that kind of stuff. So, if you want to go and check that out, it's on both of our channels, so you can go and check out what our thoughts were on Beetlejuice. And yeah, not a lot more going on than what we've spoken about. Few things potentially going to be opening up before next week, so we will have stuff to talk about next week. And obviously, if anything does drop in the week that we're unaware of, we will jump on and do a Geek Week Plus. Just quickly before we do finish up, Tales of the Empire. Have you caught any of it yet?
Not even started.
I watched the first episode. Very, very good. Definitely worth watching. And Chaos Theory.
Oh, I haven't seen Chaos Theory yet. I need to sit down and watch it. There's so much to watch now.
Mate, I'm going to round this episode of Geek Week off with, if you are a fan of Camp Cretaceous in any way, shape or form, you have to watch Chaos Theory. It is one of the most enjoyable things out from Jurassic Park, the Jurassic Park franchise, in a long time. I'm absolutely loving it. It's Camp Cretaceous, but grown up, if that makes sense. Like, it's the velociraptors in it are scary again. They're like the Jurassic Park 1 velociraptors. They are scary. Awesome. But yeah, that's it this week. If you're watching us on catch up, then please do put in the comments what do I need to put, Sorrel?
Hashtag catch up crew.
Catch up crew, or as Andy H likes to put it, catch up crew. But yeah, catch up crew, whatever you want. Let us know that you're watching. All of those that have been here throughout the show, thank you very much. We tried to get to some of the comments. We've not got to all of them, but we do appreciate all of you joining in. We'll be back next week for episode 154. Keep an eye out for that link coming up very soon with what we're going to talk about as well, what the theme of the show is going to be. But yeah, anything you want to add before we round off?
One thing for you to watch this week, Jacob, is South Park, The End of Obesity.
Oh, you've seen it already?
Oh yeah.
Worth
There's
it?
a bit in it that you'll love, which is where Randy takes the drugs for the first time. It is the little injection in the tummy, and they start playing the Lost Boys. Cry, little sister.
No.
And it starts playing the Lost Boys. He's like all spaced out, going, oh. You hear the voice go, drink, Michael, and he's like, huh?
Amazing. I'm on it. Thank you very much, everyone, for watching. We'll be back next week, episode 154. Until then, keep it geek.
Thanks for watching. Please like, share, and of course subscribe. Tune in next week for another live show. Until then, keep it geek. www.geekweekinreview.co.uk